Welcome back to the Nose Plays Endless Space 2, and what is possibly going to be the last episode of our introduction to the Umbral Choir. Um, this was some tips and some tricks and some ideas for how to play this faction, and I've actually learned a lot about my initial impressions and ideas and formulated theories about this faction in this first 40 turns. We'll play another 10 to 20 turns today, and we'll probably wrap this series up because I'm really excited to dive back into it again with a better understanding of how everything works, and particularly with another faction. So what I'd like to do is maybe investigate this hacking system with some other factions for a little bit, and then come back to the Umbral Choir once I've had a more time to kind of digest what they're all about. But some of the things that we have discovered is that they have a few things going for them that are a little bit different than other factions. Because they start with a 5-planet colony, and every one of these are essentially identical, that means that there are going to be some very specific buildings that are very, very, very good for them. In addition to that, they also, much like Horatio, have the ability to colonize every single one of these right from the beginning of the game. So buildings that benefit from extra planets, buildings that give you resources based on the number of planets that you have colonized, become incredibly efficient. Furthermore, sanctuary cities also count for all of these building types as planets, and so you'll get the additional resources from sanctuaries, which is where a lot of these resources are coming from. Now, we're not getting all of these resources and these. All of these resources are actually added into these totals here at the top, and so that's one thing that's a little weird, that's different for this faction, because normally these would be independent systems, where in this case they're not. They're kind of just sending these back to the main system, all of the resources they collect. But each planet that we sanctuary counts towards the number of planets that buildings like Xeno-industrial infrastructure, public-private partnerships, and some of these other buildings that are incredibly powerful buildings for most of the other factions kick in for us. So while our planet types initially are kind of not ideal, they're not temperate, they're not fertile, they're not even really planets, we still have the ability to take advantage of those buildings in a very, very dramatic way. And you kind of saw me in the early game. It was kind of slow going, and then boom, we slingshotted our industry, which then slingshotted our science and our food a little bit as well. And so I think that is the proper way to play these guys. Let's take a look at our colony real quick. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it actually shows them in their maximum state. But every single one of these are going to be cold and sterile. So buildings that interact with cold and sterile are going to be good potential investments. One example of using a sterile trait to your advantage would be to get the specialization on your planets that add dust, and that will make all of your population pips produce extra dust. Plus, because that also interacts with sterile, it increases the amount of dust. So if you're having dust issues, that would be one way to help resolve it. Or if you just want to increase your economy, that's one little thing you can do once you get your populations bigger on each individual planet. I still think it's best to focus on colonizing all of these before you focus on building them up. Right now we only have these specializations. This is the other one that's actually pretty useful, because it actually gives you an extra pip for cold, and all of our planets in our main system are cold. So again, look for things that you can take advantage of. The terraforming, I think, is best served in the mid-game once you have all of your systems colonized. And there's another reason that you would want to colonize all your systems, and that is At the beginning of the game, all you start with are 2 poor deposits of the Tier 1 strategics. You might have 1 low-level curiosity, but as you increase your detection level for curiosities, you'll uncover more curiosities on these other planets. And once you scout these out, which we're going to focus on doing here pretty soon, these planets, or nexi, or whatever there are, crescents, will provide more resource output than they currently do. So if we go to the trade screen, we can see system management screen, whatever it's called. We can see that this is the only one that's currently producing anything different. And that's because we get +1 industry for titanium and +1 science for Hyperium. Once we uncover some of these other curiosities, some of these other systems might be a little bit more palatable. They might provide more resources. And then we can start focusing on which ones do we then want to upgrade. Because until you know, you really don't want to be spending lots of points upgrading to the higher tiers of your planet, terraforming or whatever. Because like if I started terraforming this one and then I uncover like 2 really good anomalies over here, well, I should have been spending all of that time and resources terraforming one of these ones that doesn't have any anomalies, doing it to this one. And it takes a little bit of time before you figure out which ones have anomalies. The other thing that I want to point out that's incredibly powerful is this hero has a really interesting effect on sanctuary cities. So you can see we've leveled him up quite a bit at this point since he's our only hero, and we've been building a lot of unique and wonder buildings, which give them a ton of XP. And this is the output that he is providing on every system. So he's providing 20 food, 20 industry, 60 dust, 60 science, and 10 influence. But what's interesting about this is he also does this similar type of hero output for every sanctuary that you have. So each sanctuary is also getting a lot of these resources. Not all of them, because some of them are based on planet type. For example, the 60 dust is coming from the fact that we have sterile systems, and I've uncovered all of them. I've colonized all of them. Not every sanctuary that you set up is going to have a sterile planet, so you won't get as much dust. But you will get some dust, and you will get some science, and you will get some influence. And so to go back to this screen, we're just getting an incredible amount of these resources because the hero abilities basically count for sanctuaries. So things like this that say on system will count for sanctuaries. Things like this that say on system and on sterile will count for sanctuaries. This will not, I don't believe. Well, we should double check that. I think maybe this even works on sanctuaries. We only have 1 sanctuary with population, so we can actually check that. But yeah, all of his abilities seem to work on the sanctuaries as well as the main system. Just to see, this is the only sanctuary that we have population on, and so we are actually getting +20 from logic assisted industry, which is his hero ability that we just looked at. Right? Wait a second. Optimal operations expert. This one's not being applied to all of them. What was that called again? Logic assisted industry. Oh, I know what this is. This is a different building. +10 from planet. Yeah, I don't think that the +2 per population pip is working here. Hmm. Hard to say for sure. I'll have to investigate that a little bit closer. But what I do know for a fact is that many of them are providing. Blue Sky Speculator, for instance, is working over here. Um, Person of Means is working over here on some of these. And so a lot of the hero abilities are very powerful if you level them up. Now, one downside to this governor that I discovered that I want to point out, and I hope it gets patched because I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's a good idea. You can actually figure out where this guy is if you take over the academy. So if you colonize the academy, you know where the Umbral Choir hero is, and if he's anywhere but on his main system, he's probably not playing very optimally. And that's one really sneaky way to figure out where the Umbral Choir player is. I don't know how important that is, but for me, it seems a little odd that anybody would be able to just find my one system because I only have one hero on one system. But that is currently how the game works, so be aware of that if you're playing in multiplayer. You can kind of sneakily figure out where this guy is by taking over the academy. And then even if he teleports his system somewhere else, he's got to take his hero off of it if he wants to keep it hidden, which really can set back his economy. So, unfortunate little detail there, but let's go ahead and get into the game, and let's talk specifically about some epiphanies that I've had on how the hacking system works. I've been doing some of this stuff very wrong in terms of setting up accelerators and encryptions and things like that, and I now know how they work and what they do. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but I need to kind of figure out what it is we were going to be doing here. I think we had pretty much wrapped up this turn. There was nothing left to do, so we'll just go ahead and end the turn. I did move the Intergalactic Technology Center to the front of the queue, so we just finished one of our science buildings, and then we're going to go ahead and try to get this wonder built. While we're doing that, while we're waiting to get that done, I may end up using our dust to rush something, or I may save our dust to try to shave a turn off of this. But I have a feeling that even with like 2 turns left, we're not even going to be able to shave 1 turn because the cost is going to be too great, which is typically the case with these, and our income economy just isn't high enough. But what we definitely want to do is get our curiosity research ability up to tier 3. So that's where we're heading. I need to get curiosity exploration. Reveal curiosity related to uncommon luxuries. I think it's this one. Sets curiosity detection to 4, sets curiosity expedition to 3. So this is the technology we need to start uncovering. And we can colonize desert systems, or at least put sanctuaries on them. So that's the technology we're going to go for now. It's only going to take 2 turns, and that new science building, I'm sure, is helping with that. And then let's take a look at our cord and see, yes, we definitely have some upgrades we can do to this guy now. So we're going to create a new cord. Let's look for the best movement. So this is 4 movement points, which gives us a movement of 11. Okay. I've got 2 defensive slots. It's really weird. Why would I put like armor on this? That doesn't seem to make much sense. I guess if we were going to use it as a manpower drop ship, maybe. And maybe that's what we do with this, actually, now that I think about it, because we do want to take out those pirates, and that would be one way to do it. We do have a very small stock of this, but this only takes one. So maybe we throw that on here, which gives us almost 200 manpower per ship. The other thing we can do is titanium, or no, sorry, I was thinking of the shrapnel or the slugs or the ones that you use for sieging, but we don't need that. Instead, what we could do is put like this gives us 6 probes with a 2-turn cooldown. Oh, interesting. Why is the cooldown on these set to 1? I wonder if that thing that we got that reduces the cooldown of all probes to 1 turn. Well, these ones aren't, but let me equip one and see what happens. Interesting. So these used to be 2 turns cooldown. Vision range 3, probe stock, vision range 2. Yeah. I am not 100% sure why we're getting lower turns on these, unless it has to do with that thing that we found earlier. Well, this is that thing. Minus 100% can only be installed on scout ships. So what does this do? That's still 1 turn. That goes down to 2 turns. Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird. Unless they... Well, see here, it's showing Hyperium 2-turn cooldown. And now it's showing it as only 1. Okay, I'm very confused by that, because this should be a 2-turn cooldown, and it's reducing it without having this module stuck in there. There's something weird going on with that. Anyways, what is our Hyperium? We have 207, so yeah, we can easily afford this design. So we'll go ahead and apply that design. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw one of these in the queue, and we're going to go ahead and buy it out. In fact, I might even see if I can buy out 2 of them. And that will give us enough manpower to take out the pirates pretty easily. Get the rest of our ships moving. And let's go ahead and run through these real quick. We've already taken care of that. Curiosity exploration has been increased, and terraforming science has been increased. We already know that the optics lab got finished. New population in Callum. Okay, a new event. Bumper crop, +2 resource generation on strategics, or minus 10% on system development cost. Yeah, we're building a wonder right now, so if we can reduce the system development cost, or no, system development cost would be this, which we've already done, and we don't have access to this. So in that case, yeah, I think we go with the other one. We'll get a whole bunch of titanium, Hyperium, and a little bit of this, perhaps. We have a new hero. The hero has joined our empire. He has 4 points. What do we have here? What kind of hero is he? He is a scavenger. I'm not familiar with this. Adaptable, clever, and pragmatic. Most scavenger minor civilizations have by necessity grab and bag skills need to survive. He's a seeker. Focuses on exploration. And he's an industrialist. Well, let's go ahead and outfit his ship really, really good because we can. We can put some slugs on there, which I think are worthwhile. Alright, so then engine-wise, we need to get him up to 11. That's too much. I guess we could put 2 of these, which would give him a little bit higher evasion. Oh wait, he don't. Here we go. There we go. Now we're at 11. Let's see. Weapon-wise, I think I want to go with missiles, even though we don't have very high-level missiles. A titanium enhancer, which increases the damage. And let's go with 1 shield and 1 hull. That looks fine. We'll apply that. And then we're going to make this guy a system commander. So don't have a lot of options here. We can increase our movement and our XP on ships, and that will be good for now. Okay. So when these ships get completed, we'll assign him as the leader of that fleet. Inhabit 7 systems, yeah. Oh, we got another hero. Okay. Colonize and create 2 unique planets. Okay. I'm reading these in reverse, I guess, of what I should be. So she's also level 5. What are we going to do with her? That is a curious question. Well, we can't really assign her to a system because we only have 1. Sanctuaries don't actually get heroes applied to them. So I guess we make her a fleet commander as well. Not that we have a lot of fleets yet. And it looks like she has a very similar ship. So we can do a very similar build. Actually, I'm going to make her more of a scout. And we'll just leave her stealth and scout her around. Because I don't really have... I might as well while I have the resources to do it, right? Just go ahead and put some weapons on here. Alright. That way we won't forget about it later. Create a ship. No idle hands. +5 per sleeper on home system. Okay. Or +3 influence. I like the industry, so we're going to go with that. Add an offensive module to a ship designed to increase its offensive power. We may have already done that. Okay. We'll just lower our speed for a few turns. And finally, another solo quest, which we only have one option for. Morale bonuses are increased. Reach at least level 3 on your home system. We're very close to doing that. Alright, we have some curiosities that we can scout. These two will be able to scout in a couple of turns. And we also found a wormhole, so this will lead us to another constellation if we take that route. There's going to be a bunch more curiosities that we're going to be able to search here very soon. So I'm going to just go ahead and send this ship this way for now, and we'll try to finish getting these curiosities found. What did we find? Reserves of adamantium. Well, that's helpful, actually. We could actually increase the number of those types of guns now that we have a little bit more of it. We also have somebody over here. I'm going to go ahead and send out 2 probes and then just continue. And since we have another one, let's send it that way. Okay, one more military technology will unlock the behemoths in the game, it looks like. So we're getting really close to being able to do behemoths. That is another system that I am very, very inept on. I do not know a lot about the behemoths, and I'll probably be exploring that in a future video. Alright, we got a little warning thing up here about our Senate. 16 blue cap mold. I don't think we can get that right now. Why is this? What is it about this that we need to know? I don't know why there's a little symbol here. Change government type, yeah. Not sure about that, but what I do know is that we need to talk about this before we continue. Hacking. So I have more hacking operations now, and I've been using these things inappropriately. So hacking has 2 major parts to it, 2 major things going on. First of all, you have the travel down the lanes, the travel down the nodes, and then you actually have the hacking of the system itself. So we can see right here, we're currently in the process of hacking this system. What the accelerator module, or what is it called? Program? What the accelerator program does is a place that you are capable of hacking, a place that you would like to hack. You can place this on that node, and it will not necessarily speed up your travel down the lane, but it will speed up the rate at which you actually hack the system once you get there. So basically you want to put this on your targets. The offensive one goes on your targets. The defensive ones go on your system. Now, it's been mentioned that encryption does not actually slow down a trace. I'm not certain that that's the case. But what I will say is that it doesn't slow down the rate of the trace's travel down the lane, similarly to how an accelerator doesn't increase your rate of travel down a lane. What it does is it increases how quickly you hack the system once you get there. And so encryption may actually provide a defensive bonus to tracing, but it's only applied once the trace reaches your system. And I haven't seen traces enough to know if the trace, once it gets to your system, actually has to perform a full hack. Remember, traces operate at a faster speed than normal. And so it may just be that traces operate so quickly that they always do this in one turn, or it may be that they just get to the system and then that's all they have to do. They don't actually have to hack the system in order to finish the trace. And if that's the case, then encryption will not work. How encryption does work, however, and it's not very beneficial for the Umbral Choir player typically because it's really hard for people to find his systems to hack them. So the defensive programs are not as valuable till much later in the game, and maybe even never, depending on how active the AI is in using offensive hacking against you. But if you're playing as another type, and one of your neighbors tries to hack your system, what it does is when they get here and they start trying to hack the system, encryption will slow this effect down, and it will take many more turns to finish the hack, allowing you time to trace the system and cancel it before it finishes. So that's essentially how encryption works. I haven't really read what a lot of these other ones do, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that right now, but we may try experimenting with some of these a little bit differently. What I do know is that, like this, for example, we have this accelerator on Orion. So what that means is if I want to take advantage of this, I need to be hacking Orion, not hacking from Orion. I set it up on the wrong way. I put it here when my target was over here. This is where I should have put that accelerator. What I don't know is whether or not I can add it now and if it would even matter. It looks like we're going to finish this in 2 turns, so I don't think it's going to matter at this point. But I probably, if I'm going to leave this here, I want to try to hack Orion again and do something about these pirates. We are going to be sending those ships we just built over here to take care of these pirates in a moment. So that's where we're at with that. But that's what I wanted to clarify, and I wanted to thank those of you who have made comments in the comments of both my video and SB's videos that have tried to explain the system to both of us a little better, because it's definitely been helpful reading your comments and then going back and looking at what I did and how it was working. And I think we've got it right now. I think encryption generally doesn't stop a trace, but it does help give your traces enough time to finish in a defensive manner, while the accelerator kind of does the opposite. It speeds up your hack of the system once it gets there, so you're less likely to be traced. Okay, that being said, what do we want to hack? We have some options now, and I think we were saving this hack to do one of these. So let's go ahead and start from Novaris to, yep, 4 turns to complete that one. And then in just a moment, we're going to get another one of these back. And then the turn after that, we're going to get another one. And we're going to try to put sanctuaries on all of these. Now keep in mind, each one of these sanctuaries counts as a system towards our cap. And that is going to start to affect our approval. We're already over our cap and getting a -10. And that could be really bad for us in the long term if we get too many of these. But I want to go ahead and try and grab as many as we can for now because of how amazing the economy aspect of this is going to be. Okay. We have these 2 heroes. And I guess I'm going to wait a turn and we'll put one of the heroes out here with these scouts and let her go scout. Or maybe we can we just assign to fleet, create fleet on Tor. I can only do it on my main one. Okay, so we're going to wait and we'll assign her to one of these 2 fleets once they get wherever they're going. So I'm just going to clear those and go ahead and end the turn. So I can... it won't let me assign... I wonder if this is because I'm stealth? Okay, I have to be orbiting one of my systems in order to do it. Well... we'll go ahead and scout this for you guys. Antimatter's pretty good. Oh, this is that gouge. Okay. That gouge that's heading to the pirate system. We actually have an incoming pirate here. We're going to have to fight again pretty soon. Alright, more people on Callum. We're only 2 away. We're going to create a sanctuary. So we have 2 options here. We can get a bunch of Eden Incense and Red Sang, or we can get more Adamantium. And currently I don't think we have any Adamantium production, so I want to minimize this for a second. We're not making any Adamantium. So I think I want to sanctuary the Adamantium deposit. But before we do that, Eden Incense we have none. Red Sang we have a small amount of, and we like blue cat mold and something else. It's already been popped. I don't remember what it was. So yeah, I think the Adamantium is the right call. So we'll go ahead and pick this planet, confirm. And now we'll be grabbing that. Plus we're going to get another 60 science and another 10 dust and a bunch of other resources from all those buildings, industry buildings and whatnot. So yeah, 30 industry, 84 science, 8 dust, 11 food, and 5 adamantium per turn. It is normally 3, but remember we activated that quest that's giving us another 2 per turn. So this is even more reason to go ahead and pick this one, because we have a limited time to take advantage of that quest, reward, or whatever it was, special event. This will give us a nice little stockpile for us to build military fleets later on. Thinking ahead. Okay, we got one more probe. We should probably throw it out somewhere. Let's just throw it out this way, I guess. Okay. What is this? These are 2 chords on Callum. What are they doing? We have 12 probes? Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. Because we set our population to this system, when these 2 ships got created, they actually ended up all the way over here. Because we have a sanctuary here, we can actually apply our heroes to this fleet. It's interesting to me that they were put into a single fleet instead of separated. I can disband them into 2 separate fleets if I wanted to. And I kind of do, because I wanted to put a hero on each one. So if I pick that, do that, we can assign this hero to that one, and this hero to that one. Okay. And then we're going to send both of these fleets over here. And then we'll do a little invasion tactic. We should actually arrive at the same time that this ship does, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, that gave us 50 titanium for 1 turn, which is cool. And we found antimatter, which is also good. New quest marker. Send a fleet to the quest marker, which is up in Paradalis. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute. Over here, we've... Who are these again? The Cravers? Yeah. I really don't want to be over here in Craver space, but we are going to go ahead and search the curiosities in their space. I'm going to hold off searching that one. We'll probably search it, but we found a pirate, right? Yeah, but he can't see us because we're cloaked, so maybe that pirate will mess with the Cravers a little bit. Alright, and then over here we have a cord. This is just a regular cord, it doesn't have anything, so we'll send him up here to check that out. Oh, I forget. Pirates now have the ability to detect us. Where can I figure that out? If I mouse over a ship, how do I know that its detection levels can... There's no statistic on the battle card here that tells me anything about his detection level. That's unfortunate. They should probably add that somewhere. We have 0 weapons and 0 defenses, so we are going to retreat.
The Hive cares little for the interests of other races.
And because we were on their system and we were revealed, they saw us, so now they know who we are. Alright, we'll want to queue up that particular ship's movement if we want to keep him alive. Because that pirate's very likely to follow us, so we actually don't want to just stay there. We want to get gone. Yeah, he's already on his way. So we'll want to make sure we mash the move turn button, because what will happen is he'll reach this system and probably try to blockade it, but if we get a chance to move first... Oh wait, here we go. Watchful eyes. This is it. Fleet status. With extra attention paid to thermal profiles, level 1 cloaked ships can be detected. So any ship that has this symbol on the mini-map can detect us. That is good to know. So if we start to see enemy ships from the AI players with that symbol, we'll have to be more careful, because it will reveal us. And it looks like it reveals you to all players, because the Cravers were able to see us when that happened. So that's good to know. Alright, hacking. We should have a new hacking operation. Let's get back over here. Yep, we do, and we're going to go ahead and hack another planet. Now, we have some options here. This is something we haven't talked about or done yet. I've hacked new systems over and over again, but what I haven't done is hacked multiple planets on the same system. And I think we can create sanctuaries on more planets. Unfortunately, most of these planets are not very good unless you want a lot of science, which I guess would be okay. The Steppes planet is temperate, so that gives us a little bit of a bigger bonus than normal. And this one gives us 20 science. That's a lot of science. Maybe we should hack that one. I'm going to go ahead and hack the Steppes planet so we can start getting Eden incense as well. Even though we don't have any population there, we'll start to gather that resource. So let's see. Let's go ahead and hack that. Yes. And there's no real reason to put a accelerator on here because we're going to do this in 2 turns. An accelerator would make it so that we would complete that 30% faster, but that's not really going to help us. You can see the hack. An accelerator would help here because hacking this system takes time, so an accelerator makes this part of the process faster, but not necessarily the travel down the lanes. Okay, that's all 3 of them running again, so not much else left to do. Oh, I wanted to see where we're at with this. So it took almost the entire Trace's movement. What was that, 3 turns to hack this? Once we started hacking it, and the Trace has only moved to here. So we're definitely going to get this completed before we get traced. It's not going to get all the way here in 1 turn. Another thing I don't know is whether a tie goes to the tracer or to the hacker, if it's kind of roughly tied. But we'll want to be on this screen when we end the turn, so we can do this. Get our ships moving. Okay. And we can now go ahead and drop off Okay, in order to drop off stuff, we're going to have to uncloak, which is fine. Go ahead and get some experience. And then we're going to send all of our troops down. And this will be the first time that we get to talk about defenses. What do we have here? We need to pick a new technology. What was I wanting to do? I want to get tier 3 system development. We were just finishing off some science related stuff for the time being, but I think we're fine to go ahead and start focusing over here some more. So I need 1, 2, 3 more technologies in this tier in order to unlock this advanced system development. Looking at our options, I definitely want to get this. This also allows us to colonize gas planets. This is also pretty good and converts our industry into dust if we need to. And this one is the science one. If we decide to go for a science victory, that's almost definitely going to be needed. So let's go ahead and grab this one first. And then we'll come back and look at which one we want to grab later. I guess we should be going from the top down, is the order that it seems to want to do these things in. Ah, interesting. That's kind of cool. I never really noticed those buttons before. Let's just scroll through these all at once. Okay, so battle time. These are the troops deployed for the ground battle. We have 488 and 123 assigned. Okay. So this is our limit. This is our normal limit. This is a reduced limit, and this is the increased limit if we decide to do that. This is how many we actually have, which is not very many, actually. The stats on these are a lot better than they used to be, though. Details. Health multiplier. Damage multiplier. Will not inflict per battle damage. Health multiplier. Bombing damage. Blitz. Yeah, this is really cool. I like the new UI for this. I haven't really seen this yet. But the new UI is pretty cool. And fairly informative. Way better than it was before. Displays the probability that civilian population will be killed using this tactic. I wonder if this is just the modifier or if it's the actual probability. Because there's always a chance that you kill civilian population when you attack. I'm curious why we only have 123 manpower in this battle. We definitely deployed more than that, I thought. Oh, I think I know why. Okay, well, we'll have to talk about something. I've spent a lot of time investigating the manpower system, and what I didn't think about when we built those two ships is that our manpower is basically at 0 right now. We have 0 manpower. We might have had a very small stockpile of it, but it wasn't very much. You can see we're getting about 16 a turn, but the vast majority of our manpower every single turn is getting deposited on various sanctuary cities as a defense. Because of that, our ships, even though we built them with potentially up to 190 manpower apiece, they only got like a portion of this 45 that we get every turn. And that's why we're sitting at 123 instead of 300 like I was expecting to, between the two ships and then the pincher. We were going to have a lot more. So this battle is not going to go well for us at all. But we can clear that. So let's go ahead and perform it. Basically, it's almost always beneficial to preemptively bomb if your assigned value, the amount that you have at your disposal, is lower than the amount that you can actually deploy. And that's because the damage is basically free damage at this point. We're not giving up anything to add this bombing damage, where if we had, say, 650 troops, we would have to give up a good portion of these troops in order to do the bombing. Just because you can't have as many troops if you're bombing, you might kill your own troops. That's kind of the reasoning behind it. So they lower your deployment limit. And that actually reduces the amount of damage that your army is doing as a whole in some cases. It might be relatively equal. There may be situations where the bombing is worth more than the number of troops that you're deploying, but generally as the game goes on, the number of troops that you lose out on by preemptive bombing is big enough that it would be better if you just deployed the troops than the bombs. But whenever you're dealing with smaller groups, the bombs are always a pretty welcome set of damage. We're going to go ahead and watch this. I've never seen the Umbral Choir fight before, and I'm curious if anything else has changed now that this UI is different, if anything in the battle itself is different. So let's go ahead and take a look. bombing. That damage happened before, so those troops don't even get to participate. And now we move up and our little shadows get shot to pieces. Wow. Grave defeat. The enemy will now choose. Yeah, we lost all of our troops. Our bombing did 714 damage though, which was good. Pretty much all the damage to their troops that there were. And then our infantry did about 468 damage. So a little more than half as much as the bombs. Their troops did a lot of damage, but they had a lot more troops on the ground than we did. System relics. Gutted pirate lair. This lair of opportunists and criminals was damaged beyond repair in an assault led by the troops of the Nose Place. By the time the armed base fell out of orbit, the conflict resulted in 238 casualties. Huh. Okay. I'm not sure what that was about. Free science, potentially, right? 80% chance of discovering something, or some dust. I'll take the random something. Amethystoid. I haven't seen this one in a long time. 2 times damage done to attacker during ground battle on system. That's an interesting one. That one could be very potentially powerful in a defensive capacity, but I don't think it's got a lot of upside unless you're constantly getting sieged, in which case you're probably losing the game. Alright, we found a little load of this purple stuff. That's actually pretty good. We sent an expedition here, we got our reward, and now there's a quest that we have to... Okay. So, if I search this curiosity, it's probably going to trigger pirates. I'm actually going to wait. And let's head over here and scout the curiosities on this planet first, and then maybe we'll regroup all of our ships over there. I think with our hero ships we could definitely take on some pirates if we had to. 2 turns until more pirates appear. Interestingly, our ships are not doing any siege damage. And typically that has always been based on the number of command points in your army, but perhaps ships that don't have guns don't count, and since heroes don't count as a command point, we're at 0, I'm guessing. There's more curiosities that we can search now because we did unlock those higher tier. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'm going to send this ship and hero back here. Why can we not move? I guess because we deployed our stuff, maybe? Anyways, and then we'll send the other one the other direction. And the other lone ship can just stay there. We'll want to go ahead and cloak both of these heroes' fleets. $60 dust. We already saw that. Alright, Another quest, solo quest. What is this? Choose an objective. Orbit the Academy system with a cloaked fleet. Possess 4 heroes on fleets. We would only need 1 more hero to get this potential reward. Hack a total of 10 nodes in less than 20 turns. Let's try this one. Yeah, let's try and see if we can't find the... I'm going to be branching out into another constellation soon anyways. Alright, this effect is wearing off or starting? Event end. Yeah, this is over now. And now we're going to start to have to pay attention to our... Okay, Woden was successfully hacked. This was a pirate hack on Woden. And I wanted to create a back door over there so that I could start sending out hacks to that side of the galaxy, or at least our constellation. So that's what we'll do. And then this pincher can go ahead and do that. Okay. Hacking wise, we completed a hack, so it's time to run another hack. One of the hacks that I wanted to run while we were doing this siege was the one that forces them to use a really crappy battle tactic. I don't know what exactly that means, but there's a hack that you can do to a pirate node or to an enemy system that forces their ground battles to not go as well as they could otherwise go. But since we've already had our entire force wiped out, that's kind of pointless. So perhaps we just hack more of these. But which ones, you ask? Well, I don't have a good answer. I guess, actually, I do have some answers. So there's a lot of extra planets over here that we can hack now. So let's go ahead and do the fastest of these. And we'll get another planet under our belt, and then there's a whole bunch of these that we can do. Yeah, that's what we're going to be spending our time doing. Just out of curiosity, science just keeps going up. We're at 900 now. Go ahead and end the turn. Create a sanctuary, and we wanted to go ahead and create one on that. This will give us average and abundant deposits coming in. This event has ended, and that pirate finally made it and attacked before I got my ships off. He is primarily using missiles, it looks like. Plasma distortion, huh? Power to shields. We don't want to be in long range since we have guns, so we'll just go with turtle. And we'll go ahead and watch it, because why not? If I go to the advanced screen, has this been updated at all? Does it show me anything important? Not really. Okay. Let's go overview. Free camera. Ooh, look at all those missiles. With our two heroes shooting missiles, and most of our ships having flat cannons, that's going to be a real quick battle. Decisive victory. Alright. Get all of our ships moving the directions that I wanted them moving. Well, I should have stopped there and searched that curiosity, but... Alright. So this ship doesn't have that symbol, so they can't actually see us, which is good. And we do have curiosities to search here, so let's go ahead and grab those. I'm curious, I believe if I go to this screen... Yeah, I've searched 68 curiosities and we're only at turn 45. So things like that analytical engine building that's been sitting in our queue forever definitely will provide a significant amount of resources over time. And there's a number of those types of buildings. You can see that we are still devoted and still getting the 30%, but we've dropped below 100% now. So we're not, we're at the edge of what we can do approval wise in terms of grabbing other systems until we get some more approval stuff. But this is a really cool screen. It's on the same Empire summary. You just click the victory tab here and there's a lot of information here. You can see we have 1,455 manpower in our Empire. This is system wide, but that is mostly already deployed either on ships or on planets as planetary defense force. There's only 19 in this pool of available manpower to be put on ships at the moment. And so manpower is kind of like overflowing bins. You got this big bin available, and then you have planetary defense, and then you have some on ships. And I did a really long but very detailed video on manpower. If you haven't seen that, it's one of my better videos, I think, and it very, very detailed look at the manpower and the invasion system of the game. Most of that is still really, really accurate because it was made during the Vaulter DLC, so not a ton of changes have happened since then, but a few have. And I might be revisiting that video soon. Alright. What else do we want to do? We searched those. Excuse me. I guess we're just gonna keep moving. Are there any more? Yeah, there's a couple of curiosities over on this pirate system in Phoenix we can scout, so that's what we'll send this guy for now. Dangerous as that might be, and we have another hacking operation, so let's go ahead and we can send a hack from here to there. Two turns for that one. And we'll just get all these planets sanctuaried up. One of the things that I'm figuring out with this faction is how important food is. The other thing that I need to look at, I think, is Callum full? Where's our sanctuary? We have 8 of 9. So once we get the next population on this planet, we're going to want to move our population to a new one. And we do that on our home systems tab. So if we go to our home system here, we can see we're currently sending population to Talum or Callum. We can change that to another planet and start seeding that one with population. Alright, we have another battle. This time... Ooh, okay. This time they're bringing energy weapons and energy shields. My ship has missiles. There's a very good chance that we are going to lose this battle since we have no energy defenses, and energy weapons are more effective at long range. Well, we'll see. We'll do power to shields even though we don't have any shields. Actually, no, we should win this battle. We'll take some damage, but we should win this battle. I'll watch this one again, just... We'll watch the cinematic version this time. Shields up, guns out. There's our missiles. Yeah. So you can see we're taking a little bit of damage. They are taking more. Since they have no missile defenses, our missiles are basically hitting with incredible accuracy during the first part of the combat. How much damage are we dealing? Yeah. It's going to be close, but I think our missiles are going to outperform. Oof. Gonna be really close. Oh, I think we lost. Yep. Well, that's interesting. They did get into medium range, and that is where they are optimal. But if we look at the advanced, we can see that in the phase 1, we did a lot of damage. We did almost double their amount of damage. But in this second round, damage was more even, and because we started at a disadvantage with the damaged ship, that's why they were able to beat us, essentially. They also had a defensive bonus at long range with their battle tactic, which made them survive maybe a little bit more than they normally would have with a different tactic. So, we did actually get some shielding, surprisingly. This ship didn't have any shields, but we actually absorbed 270 points of damage to shields somehow. So, not really sure how that worked. Okay. 20% science has ended. That's unfortunate, but I think we're just a couple turns away from getting this building, which will put it right back up where it needs to be. We're going to create a sanctuary. and grab those resources. Yeah, that's the best system anyways, right? Small Arctic, large, yeah. Grab that red sang and that Eden incense. And we're going to create another sanctuary here. Get some deciduous trees. These cutscenes are really pretty. They never really get old to me. Like, okay, and now we want to switch this. So, where do we want to switch it to? You have to pardon my dog. I think my son just came home. And my dog loves my son. So, where do we want to send our population? Let's take a look at our systems and figure this out. The reason that we were sending population to Callum is because the Riftborn were trying to take this over, and I wanted a bunch of sleepers there. But it looks like, at least on that screen, their settlement is gone. It is. Interesting. So that means we can hack to that system from this back door and get that planet. We might as well put some accelerators down. We can't put them on these targets. Those aren't targets that are eligible for being an accelerator. This would be, except I think we're in a truce, so we're not allowed to hack them for a little while. Okay, well, maybe we start sending it to Tor. Tor had some really good outputs, including 12 influence per turn. And our influence is getting like a little bit low. We're still positive though. Yeah, let's go ahead and make this. Make this link leads here. Yep. So that's where our population will go for the next few turns. Alright, we need to pick a new technology again. We were working on 2 more of these. Opens Mercenaries and Heroes Market. Don't really need the heroes, since all I can use them for are fleet commanders. If I had more systems, that's more valuable, where I actually needed hero governors. Trade companies doesn't seem like a very useful thing. Can only build 1 headquarters in a home system. I'm not sure how trading works for us, or whether we could build these in our sanctuaries? I don't know. I think what we'll do is we'll just grab this for now because AI labor is still pretty good for us. Remember, all of the planets in our home system are sterile. So that's an extra 5 industry per population in our home system. And this is another one of those buildings that I don't know if it's going to work outside of our home system on other sterile and hot planets, but it might. And if it does, it's even better. What do we got? So we ended up here. There are some scoutable things, so let's, yeah, just keep moving. Jacob, hush! There are some scoutable curiosities over here, so we'll send that hero over there to collect them. And we made it to these ones. So let's get that one unlocked. Okay. And then let's keep moving. Where else did we want to grab? I don't really see any other ones. Maybe we just send out some more probes? Alright. Go ahead and end the turn. Oh, hacking operations. Of course. Yes, we want to do more hacking operations. We can hack from here to there. Alright. All of our hacking operations are now underway. Create another sanctuary. This one's giving us 17 science per turn, but this one also gives us a little bit of food. Emphasis on little. And remember, these don't give us anything actually, but this one's cold. Cold and sterile planets definitely benefit us more than... Well, this one's cold and sterile as well. This one's medium, so it has more population slots, but it also has bigger penalties to approval when we start putting population there. I think we'll go for the one with food for now. Really, the important part is just getting as many planets as possible, whether we put population on them or not, because so much of our economy comes from just having planets and systems. New population bonus. We hit 20 plus 1 influence per allocated bandwidth. Plus 15 capacity on Empire. That's interesting. So the more programs we're running, the more influence we get, and it's free. However, one thing that we briefly talked about before, I think, is that we actually get... Where's it at? We actually get manpower based on our bandwidth. So by not running bandwidth, by not having lots of programs running, you get more manpower per turn. I'm not sure where it said that, but I'm sure that it said that, so. Increase in luxury resource prices. So we could sell a bunch of luxury resources and make a bunch of dust if we really wanted to do something quickly. What would be the benefit of that? Well, we could get epigenetic seed crops or intensive cultivation. Also, no blue cap mold available. But plenty of these other resources. We We have a lot of deciduous trees now. We have income of a lot of these. This might actually be useful to get our manpower back up. Red Sang is actually an interesting idea for one of our 2 luxury boosters in the next system development. A lot of food would help us populate all of these planets very quickly. And approval would be another one, although we don't have enough. How much transvine's on the 12? It would only be 30. I don't think that's going to be enough. Let's throw that in the queue for now. Yeah, I told you this was going to be, even at 2 turns, it's going to be too expensive to buy out, and I was pretty much correct. 7,000 probably was within reach if we sold a bunch of stuff and focused more on dust, but we're missing out on a very small amount of resources that we could be gathering by doing something with these. What I might do is, let's go ahead and take these over here. Unfortunately, yeah, that's not enough to get me back to the higher tier of happiness. But we have 9 probes, so let's go ahead and see what we got. Interesting. 3 deposits of whatever this is. +2 dust and +2 industry. Well, +2 dust and +2 industry means that these planets are actually producing more than this one now, which means I want to switch these populations around because these guys get the ×2, so that'll give us a very, very slight amount of extra. Cold. We could also be getting a little bit more food, but probably not enough to matter, so I'm not going to bother with that. Alright, we do have curiosities here. Go ahead and head that way. Keeping an eye on their ships, we can see that they don't have the ability to detect us yet, so that's good. We found the Maggie lasers. Those are neat. And this ship, let's just send him down the wormhole here shortly. Alright, we've got more curiosities to scout over here, so that's where we're going to be heading next with that ship. And we've got more hacking to do. So that hack is working on that one. I can start a hack. Can I just hack these like back and forth? I can. That's funny. I'm just going to slowly grab all of these planets. I really should get this system too with all of those. Alright, well maybe the next one we'll do that. So you can see, the more planets we get, our science just keeps going up, our industry just keeps going up. We're not even putting population on these planets. These are strictly rewards that we're getting from all those specialized buildings we talked about in the early game. Cooperative quest is completed. Everybody now has access to behemoths, which is kind of scary. Holy moly, 28. It's a lot of science per population pip on that one. Cold sterile planets are going to be preferable to other types, so I guess these are all cold sterile, right? This one's just cold. This one has slightly better dust, probably due to an anomaly. Yeah, ancient ruins. And another sanctuary on this system. I mean, we're just going to grab all of them anyways, so I guess it really doesn't matter which ones we grab. We're not going to get an opportunity to put... Wow, that's cool. I'm not going to get an opportunity to put any population on them before the end of this video, I don't think so. Alright, we need one more technology to unlock. But we actually have access to some new ones now because of Behemoth Tech. Enhanced Behemoth unlocks additional support slots for Behemoth and bonuses on systems orbited by behemoths. So that's interesting. Support modules for behemoths. Mining probes. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be exploring behemoths this game, but I do know that Planet Cracker is a useful tech. It's kind of redundant with this one, or sorry, this one, I think. No? Which one is it? 3D public printing. Yeah, public 3D printing. It's kind of redundant with this because they both basically take our industry and turn it into another resource. Maybe we do go ahead and try the trade. This is an In the Shadows affinity, so this gotta work slightly different. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I don't know if we'll get a chance to actually play around with it, but... Got some curiosities. Just one, huh? What did we find? We found a pincher. Okay. Just a wrecked ship. Interesting. Well, we'll send this pincher down to the pirate system to replace the one that got destroyed. And with all these extra probes, and I guess we'll just send them out. I believe we are ready to move to a new system now. So we're going to try to get out of this constellation by taking the wormhole, but grab as many things on our way out as we can. Alright, so we achieved the objective of getting the Intergalactic Technology Center completed before anyone else.
Sign the deal.
Oh. They're threatening me.
Our purpose is to kill. You, though.
That's not good because that means they kind of have their eyes on us. Novarus now has 2 of 5. And our hero has leveled up. And we have a couple of things. Manpower deployment limit increased. Capacity, that doesn't really help us because it's not generating more manpower. Yeah, let's just grab this 5% on system. We'll see. Before I do this, let's take a look at these numbers here real quick. So 68, 30, 30, 60, 80, 40. So we'll very clearly figure out if that 5% is applied to all of these. So let's do it. Apply that. And it did not apply to these. But it did apply it here, I think. What is this thing called? Yeah. So it's actually applying it. It's just applying it in a weird way. Because it's applying it on this. But I believe the 488 from Sanctuaries is part of that. So, yeah. Cool. Do we want to give him 730 dust? Let's take a look at why he's doing this.
We are coming.
I'm not sure why he's doing this or why he thinks he can do this. I'm going to refuse him. Alright. Let's get all of our fleets moving in the directions they need to be moving. And check in with this guy, who's got more curiosities to uncover. Got a bunch of this weird amianthoid. Head this way, I guess. Ah, we made it across the wormhole. And we found Libra. The Libra system has 1 curiosity for us to search. And 2 star lanes that we can send probes down. Okay, United Empire found their home world. So that's good to know. If we take Shaddai, we can hack that, I believe. Even if we don't take Shaddai, we could hack it, but... Voidstone's pretty cool. Just hang out here for a second. Alright, hacking. We've got lots of hacking operations to do. So the first hacking operation I want to do is that. The second hacking operation I want to do is that. And the third hacking operation I want to do... Oh, we already have one. Alright. And I think this is going to be the last turn of the video and possibly the series, although I may do one more of these. But I really want to play with some of the other factions and, like I said, explore this from a different perspective. Yeah, we're just cranking out stuff now. Oh yeah, another really cool one. Population booster has ended. Potatoes or blue cap mold? Can we buy some more potatoes? Only need 2 potatoes for that. What about blue cap mold? Still no blue cap mold. Interesting that there is 0 blue cap mold on the market. But we can at least keep our shadows happy. We should really try making more of those. Influence. We can afford to take an influence hit for a lot of science.
Our purpose
They
is to
didn't like the
kill.
fact that we ignored them. Ground battle at Calum. Interesting. Pirates are attacking us. I have a feeling that these aren't actually pirates. Protecting the system versus drafting. Whoa. Adds up to 300 and increases manpower max deployment limit. -2 population? That seems not cool. So we get 152, or, yeah, I guess we're going to have to do this. I'm not going to bother watching it. They have tanks. Oof, that's not good at all. We're definitely going to have to improve 2 tanks. So what happened in Callum that I'm confused? We have pirate ships that have positioned themselves on our system and have invaded us. Again, these pirate ships could actually be vaulters, or they could be pirates. Interestingly enough, it's not showing their troops as tanks. Which makes me even more suspicious that these are actually vaulters. Because regular pirates don't have access to armor as far as I'm aware. So the vaulters are using pirates to try and get rid of our sanctuary. What can we do to help improve our chances? Well, we can definitely do those 2 things. This one's a little bit too expensive, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm that and make our troops a little bit better. Unfortunately, we don't have access to armor yet because we haven't spent any time in the military tree whatsoever. So we're probably still going to lose, but at least we can slow them down. It looks like they really want that system. We do have access to a behemoth. Where is the... Let me come back to that screen. Increase the behemoth cap by 1 every 3 behemoth technologies researched. Well, that's good to know. So wait a second. Do I just know how to build behemoths now? Can I build like a basic behemoth? Yeah, it's not even on here. It's definitely something we have to research. Where's that? The lowest tier behemoth tech. It's gotta be probably this one right here. Behemoth Blueprints gives us the behemoth hull. That's not something we're gonna do today, but that's good to know where it's at. This is 1 turn away, so we'll get our system development, which is what we've been focusing on. And then maybe we'll start grabbing some of these technologies. Get our ships moved, and what do we got? 4? Only 1 curiosity over here. Anything else we want to do? There's a couple more over here, it looks like, so let's keep moving that direction, I guess. More antimatter for us. And let's go ahead and wrap this video up by discussing basically what we have discovered about how to get this economy off the ground. So, first thing you have to do is build the core buildings that get your per planet resource generation going. Then you colonize every planet in your home system and grab as many of the tier 0 sanctuary systems as you can, all of which benefit from those core buildings. Finally, using your hacking, you hack as you learn how to colonize other planets, every planet in those systems, and all of those add up to a substantial amount of resources. You saw we were basically just bouncing hacks back and forth between these systems up here, but I mean, we started this game and this number was what, 700, so in 10 turns I doubled my science output, and that has a large amount to do with your hero's core abilities. This plus 60 on system is giving us a fair amount of that, all those extra systems we grabbed. So yeah, all of this stuff is really, really important to getting your economy off the ground. Also, grabbing systems that have, and specifically planets that have the resources that you need is another really important thing that you want to be looking for. So, we have 1 hacking operation available. I can get 1 more of these planets over here on Trappist, and it only takes like 1 turn to do, so we'll just hack from there to there, 1 turn, and that will give us the last of those planets. And now all of these planets are counting towards it, just like a system would basically. Yeah, I like the Umbral Choir faction and the mechanics that they bring to the game. I don't know how well they're going to play in multiplayer. I have my concerns about how multiplayer and the Umbral Choir are going to work. But it's definitely a cool faction. I'm glad that the community got a chance to help participate in its development, and I think it's added a significant layer of more stuff to do within a game that already was incredibly deep and rich with things to do. The only thing that I wish is that we had a little bit better resource for explaining some of these mechanics. The tooltips are nice and all, but sometimes they're not as clear as they could be, and sometimes the mechanics are just sort of hidden and you don't really get to see what's going on. But you can kind of guess if you play the game enough and figure it out and make some good decisions because of that afterwards. So, but we're going to go ahead and wrap the video up for now. This has been The Nose Plays. If you have any suggestions for a future video, let me know in the comments below. And you guys all have a great day.